She was unsatisfied with her emotional connection and blank life, and beginning to doubt whether that could even change. For many years, Jane had focused on her husband's problem. Being a family counselor, she believed that she could help him and they could return to the love and connection they experienced in the first few years of their relationship. It never occurred to her to focus on her desires first. After enrolling in an SWA program, she took her attention off of fixing Bob and put directly into herself and her own pleasure. She threw herself into the practice of bragging, spring cleaning, swamping, desired list, and woman truz. She focused on generating more pleasure for herself and only inviting Bob into that. She was shocked when he kept joining her. She was so surprised to learn that men not only want to, but love to serve women's desires. Moreover, she discovered that a woman's capacity to receive is the key element in encouraging a man's giving. She learned that it is the pleasure she received and appreciation she shares that motivates Bob. The more he feels seen, happy, and successful, the more he wants to please her, so he can feel that way again. Today, Jane only needs to ask for what she wants, and Bob is happy to oblige. From running small errands to taking edgier steps, like going to a blank class, Jane also started listening more carefully to what Bob was saying. She used what she learned from her pleasure and his. For an example, Bob would often tell her she had magic blank. Anywhere you is exciting. Because she listened, she now uses much more, and it makes him happy. Their marriage has transformed from an exercise in frustration into ongoing, ever-expanding adventure of radiant love. Once we own our radiance, we must find ways to infuse that light into our relationship. Otherwise, the partnership must die. It is a man's job to amplify and encourage your turn-on, rather than diminish it, but it is your job to pursue your radiance at all cost. You cannot expect your partner to know what lights you up or turns you on, and you have to do the research yourself. Locating your radiance can be provocative, and you might be living in the city and realize that you're more blank and living in the country. You might have agreed with your parents and husband that it's probably time for you to have kids, but then find yourself unwilling to get off the pill. You might be in the middle of a divorce and then decide that you really want to stay married. Such a discovery may throw a curveball into your partnership or into your family's life, but if that's what lights you up, everything and everyone better jump on board and pack their bags. The sun is shining and everyone needs that light. From what I've seen over the years, men are mostly thrilled when their woman can stand proudly in their own radiance. But of course, those are men and women with limited viewpoints who are not open to change or expansion. Are mostly thrilled, but of course, then there are men that are limited in viewpoints who are not open to change. This can understandably be frustrating for a woman who is learning to prioritize her own inner glow, and she will never find happiness with a partner who is interested in limiting her or diminishing her. Eventually, she will have to decide whether to shrink herself down or to fit her partner's comfort zones, or to leave the relationship. Maintaining your radiance. I'm just going to finish it, you guys. Maintaining your radiance. What lights us up and turns us on is ever-changing. The more demanding our lives are, the more rigorously we must attend to our pleasure. The year I wrote this book was challenging for me because I had about 15 hours of writing time to my already full week. To keep my home fires burning, I also added getting a weekly massage. I made sure I wore only hot-looking clothes to write in. I also made sure I moved my body a few times a week. Going to S Factor, taking salsa lessons, Soul Cycle yoga, working out with my trainer. The more I put on, the more I had to put in. Thanks for the follow. Hello. When writing in New York Times, I made sure to light my favorite candle from the hotel in Paris. When writing in Sag Harbor, I got up at 6:30 each morning to write at the beach for a few hours before the day began. Another great radiance builder for me is to make sure I have blank encounters every week. I have the luxury of living in New York City, where a school called One Taste teaches a practice called blank meditation. Blank meditation, or OM, is based on blank practice I learned when I was studying at university. I have several OM partners, male friends, who have studied their practice deeply and are willing to have blank sessions with me. Between my OM, my lover Esteban, and my self sessions, I am filled tank with O to fuel my soul and this book. Part of a woman's radiance comes from her ever-expanding blank enjoyment of her body. I am a firm believer in the power of O to fuel a woman's radiance. Whether you are single or married, it is your job to steer and guide your own unfolding. You cannot leave your fulfillment up to your husband or partner, and you can have an O anytime you want with your own hand or a partner. It is unfair to blame the quality of your life on your partner, and we can each do our part to expand the duration and intensity of our own O. In doing so, we make ourselves much better partners for our lovers. So many blanks, I know. I have a question. How much money is the one coin thing worth? And I don't know. Oh, the reef, I think it's like $1, but I think creators get like 50% of whatever is there. Okay. There are incredible teachers out there who have devoted their lives to studying blank education. If you prefer self-study, there are wonderful books you can read. The key is to prioritize and invest in your ever-expanding blank life for the sake of feeding your own soul. A radiant relationship is nothing more, nothing less than making the decision to serve your radiance as a priority in your relationship life. Does this seem selfish? I hope not. Keep your own orbit high is the best way and the most generous and loving thing that you could do for your partner, lover, friends, and family and children. Women have a tendency to think that self-sacrificing ourselves is what's serving our relationship, but it's actually the opposite. The more we plug into what turns us on, the more our light we can shine on those we love. Creating a radiant relationship is a journey, just like any creation journey. The key is to get as clear as possible on what you want. Since we women are the source, we have to know where to shine our radiance. The dance of desire is a wonderful dialogue between you and that which is greater than you. The more you know what you want, the more we imagine the deliciousness of our desires, and then the more we can actually attract it. The more a woman polishes her own altar and stokes the coals of her own brilliant, radiant light, the more she can design her relationship life to be exactly what she wants.